I am the great central sun's magnet's presence, of Akasha's love, the rose pink flames of divine love, will, and grace, drawn up, in, through, and around me now. Almighty I am, Almighty I am, Almighty I am. A glorious good afternoon, precious hearts. This will be the third towards the last time that I will greet you. In this age of man that opens the way for the age of light and love to return to the earth, the age of Christ consciousness, governed by the great violet flame, the seventh golden age. And after I greet you for the last time in this age, on the eve of the seventh golden age, December 21st, I will immediately return to the great central sun. And there I will turn over my duties within the great central sun to my sister, the goddess of victory, that is also known to you as Beloved Rose. And throughout the entire time from the 28th December 2012 to the 28th December 2013, my sister Rose will represent the love, the will, and the grace of the great central sun and its cosmic law of attraction, which is given to you in that phrase, the great central sun's magnet's presence. And so I will be urging you that in those days that represent the first year of your seventh golden age, and when you turn your attention to the great central sun, you will address my sister Rose, who is equal to me and yet unique in her own expression, for she is the victory of the Mother's presence within our universe, presently in great service to our beloved goddess of Venus, for the great planetary transformation that Venus has been preparing for in her own evolution. Yet for this time that I am your ascended master-elect, it is better for me to set aside my office in the great central sun. My sister Rose, the great goddess, and also the Mother's presence of victory, is very capable of responding to your calls. For when you call forth any activity from the great central sun, and you include myself, or in this case next year, you include the goddess of victory, and you might as well, for the year 2013, refer to her as the universal mother's presence of victory itself, from the great central sun, whose presence and power throughout 2013 is to answer, along with the great creator beings within the great central sun, every call of whatever nature that you make of the great activities of the great central sun. As you know, I will be raised your ascended master-elect, not in the more usual modern-day activity where this sacred event occurs in the heart of Shasta, rather for important duties, for important activities that belong to the seventh golden age. It is discerned that I take the throne of your ascended Master-elect within the sacred chambers of the great royal Tetons, where certain activities within the Tetons that govern every single mountain and every mountain range, activities where electronic forces and magnetic forces sync together, that by my crowning taking place in the royal Teton, I may use much of the greater activity of the Tetons. And here it is best that you know, or that you come to know, in your ever-increasing enlightenment, that the great gods of the elements, of the four elements, when they are in service as gods of the elements, whether they be Helios, the fire element, Aries, the air element, Virgo, the earth element, or Neptune, the water element. Now these great beings and overseers, some of whom also have other great duties, such as Helios as being your godparent, yet when they are performing their service as the great god overseers of the four elements of your planet, they are generally presiding that service from the royal Tetons. And so, blessed hearts, once I receive the crown of your ascended Master-elect, I will immediately begin to release decrees and the kind of interventions that you have heard are only granted to an ascended Master-elect for a period of 1 year in your understanding of time. I have already released a little into your awareness, of some of which I shall decree. The most important decree that I shall give, and for its impact, short term, even more important than the decree that clearly you understand today, that I shall decree that you shall be raised from the violet soul into the radiant rose soul. Yet even more important, due to its impact and immediate impact upon your lives, I will decree for everyone within my dispensation, everyone within this academy, I will decree, if you choose, if you agree to, I will decree that the life cycles of each of you will close upon that day. And every one of you who say yes will begin a new life cycle. Now, I have not dedicated my time with you to teach you of the life cycles that you're involved in, that your higher mental body chooses for you, and expand that into the larger life cycles of our planet and our galaxy. That is my discourse with you on the Wednesday evening. Yet it is to simply bring into your awareness today that a great opportunity, your life is governed by cycles of time that unify into the time-space continuum of the mass consciousness, or if your consciousness is raised into the raising consciousness, which is the case for each of you, then your life cycle is in accordance to that. Let me simply say, everyone on earth is within a 3 to a 9 year cycle. If you were to contemplate your life, listen inwardly, trust your intuitions, you would be able to ask the question and get the answer correct. Am I a 3? Am I a 4? Am I a 5? A 7? A 9? And you could also look upon your life and try to sense when big changes have come into your life, or even little changes that put you in a new direction, or changes which expanded on your qualities as an individual, changes in your life, phases that triggered your awakening. Each of you have the ability to intuit what life cycle you are in. The messenger's life cycle is a 5. And there is no right or wrong, no advantage or disadvantage to being a 3, a 6, a 9, a 5, a 4, an 8, or a 7. It is simply a choice that your higher mental body discerns is ideal for you in the choices that are ahead of you as you return to the earth in embodiment, what you must face in completing your soul contracts, what you must face in evolving and developing yourself, and ultimately prepares you for your awakening and the various cycles that come within awakening. What you can be certain of is at the beginning of every new cycle, if you are 35 years in the garment and your life cycle is 7, then I would say you are completing 5 7-year life cycles. Do my words make sense to you? And the most important thing for you to understand today, and I will expand on it Wednesday, but for now, every time you begin a new cycle, a life cycle, for there are phases, there are smaller cycles, there are chapters to the lives that we live, but the life cycle is governed by your higher mental body. And when you begin a new life cycle, there is always an infusion into the outer self, an insurgence of new life that is given to you, a tremendous release of new light, more power. Of course, in the mass consciousness of the peoples are absolutely insensitive to this and the positive impact it would make on their life, because they are simply not knowing of these things and the matters of enlightenment. For each of you, your life cycles become much more intense and have much more positive impact upon you during the path of enlightenment and resurrection. I will be decreeing for all that choose. Makes no difference where you are, in what cycle you're in, and where you are in that cycle. For every student who will say yes, And my desire is that I will have from all of you a 100% sign up for this. For I am decreeing to move our student body into a new life cycle. The decree is given on the 28th of December. We are yet compelled, even though the dynamics of what you conceive is a time-space continuum, even though the dynamics of that is going to consciously shift, not for the people, not yet, but constantly shift for you. I am decreeing our entire student body. On the 28th comes the decree. The workings are in place on the 29th. So that if you say yes to this, on the 29th, you and your fellow sisters and brothers on the spiritual path will be entering day one of a new life cycle, and you will all have the same life cycle. My desire is to raise the student body into a 7-year life cycle, coinciding with the 7th golden age. And what I reveal to you today is a 7th golden age that is made up in your understanding of time, made up of the shortest cycles that the people of earth and the earth have ever experienced. In the fall from grace, the long-standing duality, sometimes cycles would continue for hundreds of years, waiting for a 1,000-year cycle for intervention, a 25,000-year cycle, whatever they may be. But I assure you, the cycles of the age of man have been slow, and they have allowed many, many years before a new cycle comes in. And this is due to the lower vibrational nature of the time-space continuum that governs cycles of intervention for the whole of the people of earth. There are many guarantees that are in place to ensure that what occurred in the 5th golden age, such a global failure, never happens again. It will not happen. It is guaranteed it will not happen. Never again, after an influx of spiritual energies, after the outpicturing of such enlightenment coming to the peoples and those who will lead the peoples, never again will the people, once all of these things occur, never again, it will not be possible, will the people consciously turn away from the light. And that, my family, is a very, very good thing. I thank you. And so, what I revealed to you today is the 7th golden age, a 10,000-year cycle. Well, the first 4,900 years are made up of 7-year cycles. And that means intervention just keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming. And the mass of the people are compelled to keep up with that intervention. It is you and peoples like you leading the way showers, the gatekeepers, the torchbearers. And you, my family, shall carry a torch. Throughout 2013, not a day shall pass that I do not decree that each of you carries and becomes the torch of the rose-pink flames. Here I ask you to expand now your enlightenment of the rose-pink flames. Yes, they are love. Yes, they are grace. Yes, they are will in action. Now, let us expand the hierarchical understanding of the rose-pink flames action. The action behind that love and that grace and that will is not the law of attraction that is governed and is used by the people of earth according to all that they hold within themselves. The rose-pink flames in its hierarchical action is the cosmic law's attraction. And the attraction of the cosmic law, first great activity is to draw upon you and lock within you the great central sun's magnet's presence of the full force of Akasha's love that is the rose-pink flames of love, will, and grace. Surely, my precious hearts, you must understand that if you are to fulfill the words of Jesus the Christ, if you are to become everything he said of those who follow him, if you are to be raised an untouchable being, where no human hand, no human force, no human creation, not even an atomic weapon in its explosion could touch you, certainly you must understand that there must be the most cosmic, universal activities and powers anchoring inside you, and then you becoming the director of those powers. In the days of the seventh golden age, in your great service to life, wherever human beings are using the law of attraction through the feeling side of life that draws destruction into the world, you shall silence it. For you shall carry the cosmic law of attraction. You shall carry the torch of my rose-pink flames. You shall become the living embodiment. I told you long ago. You are the children of the second house. You are the children of the house of the eternal rose, the children of love. You are here to fulfill all that the first house decrees, the house of light. Each house has the other's great activity within it. And so it is. Many things will change in 2013. Your lives, your spiritual practice, what occurs in classes, from the smallest class, a Wednesday evening, to the grandest of them all, a conclave. Change is coming. The powers that you will use will increase as each of you have come to love and use the violet flame. And as you understand that the violet flame and ray is the undercurrent that guarantees the purity that must come forth in the seventh golden age, you, blessed hearts, will be the great torchbearers and become, through the fire element in your heart, you will become, yes, you will shepherd in my rose pink flames to the surface of the planet. And in your shepherding and the transformation of your unfed flames shall be, in their evolution, you shall be the living embodiments of the rose pink flame to the earth. You shall carry the fulfillment of the mother's love. Within the rose pink flame, like the white fire flame, you will have the power to instantly charge your flame with any great power, quality, and activity. And as Helios taught you this morning, that flame will change color immediately to the task at hand. And when finished, it will return, not to a white fire flame, to a rose pink flame. Many decrees I have given. Classes will begin with a different focus. The first focus, praise and adoration to the giver of life. The second focus will be the rose pink flames into the resurrection flames and the great, great levels of protection that you've been taught to call. I shall overlight my messengers, and you shall receive, as the weeks progress in the seventh golden age, you will receive stunning, empowering mantras to the rose pink flames, and mantras to become the rose pink flames to the earth. As these unfold throughout the weeks of classes in the seventh golden age, they will form ultimately another sacred fire booklet of rose pink flames. I will commune with Emma Rose, who is the graphic artist of the Academy, to provide you a chart, another chart of the I Am Presence, in which the pillar of the sacred fire that comes to be with you and remain with you in full soul intensity is seen by you as you look upon the chart as a pillar of the rose pink flames. I am using the authority that is mine, the last authority that I shall use as I step aside from the throne of the great central sun, as I crown my sister, the Mother's Presence, for 1 year. The last decree I shall give from the great central sun is that my magnet's presence of my Akashic love shall be upon you to successfully lift you and raise you into the final evolution of the soul that is possible in a third dimensional reality. This shall be my final decree from the central sun. There are many others that I will release that have to pertain to the ascended host, the angelic host, your world, and I have much to decree for your solar system, your galaxy, and mighty systems of worlds you have even forgotten existed. And as I leave you on the eve of the 7th golden age, on the 21st, I will return immediately to the great central sun. I will return with a sun. All those who have had an opportunity to embody the Heavenly Father, the ancient silent watchers, the Abrahams, the Melchizedeks, the Jesus the Christs, all will gather with me in those days from the 22nd to the 27th. And in those days we shall be decreeing and praying for our universe, for things that are required in other system of worlds you know not of, and of course decreeing and praying for the people of earth and the great success of the 7th golden age. And of course you're raising into radiant rose souls. Then I return, and as I enter into the royal Tetons on the late night of the 27th, to go through sacred preparations, and then the first decree I am given once I am crowned, from your earth, the decree for you to be raised into radiant rose souls will go up and meet the decree that I have given from the great central sun of your resurrection into radiant rose souls. We enter a new time. You have been raised sufficiently. You, my precious family, have been through very interesting journeys. You've been through journeys of difficult times. And I urge you to create those illustrations, those mental images in your mind, those metaphors for yourself that stand the great meaning that you have completed. The classroom of duality, and all the challenges and difficulties that you have faced, and that you are recognizing that you are leaving all of these behind. Not one of them are worthy to remember. Not one of them are worthy in your attention. I can only encourage you. I cannot tell you how to do this. I cannot interfere with your free will. I can only encourage you to fasten within yourself some ideology, a metaphor, a mental image that represents to you that you are leaving behind a classroom of long journeying. It's had its ups, and unfortunately, due to the history of the people of earth, it has had more downs than it has had ups. And a lovely little mental image as you acknowledge this in these end days is for you to just imagine you are standing in your home, in any room in your home. Could be your living room, your living space, where you are acknowledging the long journey through the age of man, all the difficulties and all the pain, and that you see the seventh golden age likened to stepping from one classroom to the next classroom of life. If you are in grade 12, you're not going to step back into grade 11. You're going to step into grade 13 or your first grade of college. You understand what I am saying? Create your metaphors, create your images. Try to capture the feeling within you. It is time to leave the past in the past. I am stepping forth into a new classroom of life. There's no part of my being that wishes to take the past, especially the difficult, into that next classroom of life. And if you are imagining that you are standing in the living room, or even if you are at home in your living room, standing and just having this sacred moment, and then imagine you are walking from that place into another room. It is the next classroom of life. And just see yourself magically walking into that next room that is filled with light. And then forms of perfection come forth in your imagination and fill that space. And eventually we'll expand on that space until it includes the space of your planet to which you belong. Mother Akasha, while you are with us from the great central sun, and even before you become our ascended master-elect, we call to you. We call upon your great love of the great central sun's magnet's presence to anchor, to project and anchor a living sphere of rose pink flames underneath our feet. A lovely sphere of rose pink flames that is to be anchored there permanently. And wherever I move, that sphere of rose pink flames moves with me. That as I take up and become your rose pink flame to the earth, and when I enter into a wonderful new voice and decree, rose pink flames rise up through me. I bow before thy grace instantly, for anchored permanently. Anchored permanently underneath me is the sphere of rose pink flames from Mother Akasha's love. In the seventh golden age, there is a term you will hear more of, and the term is permanent. And a term you will hear less of, and I already know whether you remember it, that the Blessed Holy Mother, the Blessed Mary, Grandmother Anna, the Princess Mary Magdalene, they have all come to you, whether you remember, and they have said to you, once your resurrection is underway in the seventh golden age, they will not speak the word crucifixion ever again. We wish this to be washed away from your memories. That is why, Akasha, I feel that you do search your being. What works for me? What gives me the feeling that a long journey, a journey of joys, a journey of difficulties, that I'm leaving this classroom behind, and I'm entering into the next classroom of life, where only joy and happiness desire to be felt and expressed. Ask yourself, what can I create inside myself? What feelings, what mental images, what sacred words immediately pulls me into that awareness? Yes, I have left the age of man behind. Yes, I have stepped into the next classroom of life. And all that has been painful and difficult, I leave behind. I am the great central sun's magnet's presence, of Akasha's love, the rose-pink flames of divine love, will, and grace, drawn up, in, through, and around me. Sometimes, blessed hearts, it is not respectful and does not honor the great powers of life to speak them in one word or two words, unless, of course, those two words are I am. And so, you dear hearts, when we are teaching you, when we are releasing you the greater powers, sometimes the decree, the affirmation and call can be lengthy. And the way to teach yourself to quickly memorize that call so that you can then speak it with feeling is to teach yourself to memorize it in the phrases that make up the whole call. I am the great central sun's magnet's presence. There's the first phrase, yes? Of Akasha's love, a little phrase. Of her rose-pink flames, of divine love, will, and grace, a longer phrase. Drawn up, in, through, and around me. Do you understand? Memorize it. Love it. The chart that is before you was created by the mighty Saint Germain. This came into his mind, and he gave it to the world. My chart that I bring forth is Akasha's chart. Some things will be similar, many things will be different. And the most important difference in terms of what is shown in the lower part of the chart, the outer self, as many of those who represent the sacred fire get after you, when you're not holding your physical body in the position that is shown, that is not the position of the rose pink flames. That is not the position that I will ask Emma Rose to depict. You understand? With the rose pink flames in this phase and stage in your life, it is to allow yourself to be cradled by the rose pink flames, to allow yourself to be cocooned by the rose pink flame, as if the wings of angel's love or mother's love. Consider a small child that you're putting into the bed, and you come to sit aside the bed and to say the nighttime prayers with your child. I would imagine that your child's arms are like so. So this is the sacred position of being cradled by the sacred fire. I will teach you in new mantras that as you are mantraing and giving voice and desire for the rose pink flames, I will teach you when to rock left and right, and when to rock forward and backward. Of course, the messenger's not quite picking up because I have not taught him this. The legs do not move in the forward and motion. It is from the hips forward and back. Do you understand? You're going to have to train yourselves in this. What will be easiest for you to get right away is the left and the right. Do you understand? The rocking, the gentle rocking, being cradled by the rose pink flames. So the cocooning nature of the rose pink flames are just loving you up, dear hearts. Then as your mental and feeling begin to absorb, and then through the very pores of the skin of your physical garment begins to absorb the sacred fire, delivers the action of love, will, and grace under the cosmic law of attraction, in operation, in function, in each of you. Do you understand? For all that is coming, I ask you, and I will bring this forth in as many of the classes as we enter into the new year, from weekends, urging students to remember. This will be very, very important. And when I deliver my Christmas message to the students on Wednesday, I shall use that time then to encourage the students. And we'll keep bringing our attention until we are certain that every student has it. And that is so important, dear heart. There's many new students that are coming in next year. And if you have set forth the call to me while I am within the great central sun to project a living sphere of my rose pink flames. Now that sphere will be about the size of a lovely beach ball. The son says to me, basketball. So whatever that size is, I think that's the size of a beach ball, don't you? That you will ask me to anchor this underneath your feet. It will go wherever you go. And like the violet flame, as you walk in the pillar of the violet flame releases its frequencies into the ground you walk upon, and that's a blessing. And so too, my sphere of my rose pink flames will be always with you and underneath you, that they may come up forming the pillar. Now as you are well with this, and time is past you, in the using of this great activity, what will happen? Let us say that you are going on about your daily errands, you're at your workplace, and you quietly allow my name, Akasha, or rose pink flames. You quietly think that in your mind. Instantly, that sphere will intensify the rose pink flames around you, even before entering into a call. It is my most earnest desire, and all things that you have come to understand, the human and how you have struggled with it, the habits of the human that still act up even when you make new choices, the human that will do everything to take your attention back out into the world. And did one not greet you recently and command the incessant? Do you remember it? The incessant demands of the human that acts through the outer self, that acts through the attention, be thrown off you. And so in our first year of the seventh golden age, too often, because the law of attraction naturally acts, whether one is positive or negative does not stop the law of attraction that comes under the will of the human. You are enlightened, you have made efforts. It is time that all that is of good and all that is of God in our universe be acting in your life. There is the law of the human. It is the law of the atom. Once your will and once you decree what will be in the human octave. Due to the nature of the human, it's the darndest and most difficult thing of getting free of it. In the statement that I just made, and when I said the word decree, I was not referring to the decrees that you give. I was referring to what you do and you don't realize it is a decree. It's your thinking. It's your feeling. It's the images you're holding in your mind. It's the words you are speaking. Every moment of your life, you are using these activity to decree out into the world. It is best that you face this quickly. When you enter into decree, I am the light of the world. This is conscious decree. When I enlighten you, and just saying it a different way, that your thoughts, the mental images, they form in your mind, the emotions that you project, and your words, they are you constantly, unconsciously decreeing what shows up in your outer life experience. You know these things, do you not? And yet if you know them, why is it that yet imperfect thoughts, imperfect feelings, imperfect mental images still form inside you. Number one, it's a habit. Number two, it's the way you lived your life in the old schoolroom. And the old schoolroom, you became enlightened and you prepared yourself to live outside in the next great activity. And this is perfecting activity. Your matters of enlightenment are not intended to work against you, but in the beginning years, they do. You hear of such hope. You hear of so much promise. You hear that you're a creator being. Yet the old is still acting. And you are in a world that is governed by the law of the atom. The law of the electron is instantaneous manifestation. The law of the atom is steady, gradual growth or change. When you hear of what is possible, when you hear of the future, you naturally would desire it now. But you come up against the law of the atom again and again and again that demands gradually you shift into all that you are turning your attention in. The gradual shift, the gradual growth of the law of the atom is to give you time to watch, to observe your harvest so that you become. You are not just teachers. You have come to experience, to observe how natural laws of life work. The law of the atom is the slowest vibration that a creator being can use to monitor how their thoughts, their feelings, their words, their mental images, and their emotions are coloring, impacting the reality that is unfolding. If the law of the atom moved with the speed of light, you would have never learned how a thought, a feeling, a spoken word, a mental image suddenly becomes a thing. Every being in their beginning must journey and study the law of the atom. It allows you to observe as things are transforming and changing, how that relates to the intensity. Intensity is key. And so, dear hearts, yet you have enough enlightenment. You are using the sacred fire. And so, in your first year of the 7th Golden Age, it is my great desire to give to you the cosmic law of attraction. If you will love it, if you will embrace it, if you will use it, the cosmic law of attraction, now hear this please, will supersede, do you understand this word? Yes. Will supersede the law of attraction as it is governed by the law of the atom. Changing your world of manifestation and experience dramatically. And the law, the cosmic law of attraction is the great central sun's magnet's presence. This is a term that we will drench your consciousness with, giving you decrees for welcoming it, for inviting it, for anchoring it. I am. Therefore, I will insert this. Another phrase. I am the cosmic law of the great central sun's magnet's presence, of Akasha's love and her rose-pink flames, of divine love, will, and grace. Up, through, and around me. I want you to get that feeling that that's going to come under and then up, through, and around you, anchoring in. The great central sun's magnet's presence and its cosmic law will supersede the law of attraction as it is acting through the human emotional body using the law of the atom. There's a reason why most school teachers are women. And that's not a slight, it's just a truth. For it is my right to say a rose is a rose is a rose. Don't color it, don't change it, don't say it's anything else. It's the truth. There's a reason why most teachers are women. And with that, dear heart, she is ready to greet you. Will you turn to your hearts and offer a warm wave, a warm welcome of love? She is your godmother, long forgotten by the people of earth. This is the typical nature of a mother. Even though their children will forget her, turn away, the mother never stops loving. She never lets go of hope and holds the vision for her children. Offer a love to Mother Vesta as she greets you this day, and I thank you.